Hi everybody and welcome back to DEEKS Peek into Everything. It's been a minute. I'm Jordan and it's been a while since I have been on this platform. It's been a busy summer and I've had the summer of my life. I really don't want it to end. But because of that, I thought I might recap what my summer has been like and share with you all what I have been up to for the past, 4 or so months since I've posted a podcast episode. So today's episode will be a DEEKS peek into a fun summer, which I am most definitely having. So let's go all the way back to the last time we talked, which was when I was in Arizona with my two best friends, visiting them, and kicked off my first concert of the year, which was to see Lainey, my favorite band. If you know me, you know I've traveled pretty far to see them, and it was the tour opener, so it was like the perfect like show to be in like the back of the pit and dancing with my friends, and I miss them a lot. I haven't seen Emma since then, and I've seen Callie I think once since then. So yeah, I miss my friends a lot. But that's kind of the last time that we were together, is when we were doing that episode together. So in the month of April, because that was the end of March, which is absolutely crazy, I've kind of got some big moments and then some like quick mentions to give you guys for each month that I have kind of been AWOL on here, and just like living my best life. But I do want to get back into podcasting and just kind of talking to the camera and feeling more comfortable as my content creation kind of continues to take off, which we'll get into before the end of the episode. So taking us all the way back to April, some quick mentions that I had. I started working with a dietitian. This isn't something that I'm continuing to do. It was very like short-term based, but I am a very picky eater and was kind of just like running out of options. So talking to somebody about, well, really understanding why I'm picky and why I am going through all of the things that I am and why I'm particular about the things that I am, was really beneficial. So if that's something that like you're struggling with, like if you have a relationship with food that you struggle with, it was covered by my insurance. I got an ad for it on YouTube, so I was like, why wouldn't I use that free resource that I had? So worked with her for a little bit, and that was very beneficial. And then on the other hand, I've made like some pretty huge strides in therapy. My therapist is amazing. I love her a lot, and she has helped me not only recognize like some hard conversations and kind of difficult confrontation that I have managed to work through, but also she helps me give myself my flowers a lot. She praises me a lot. She reminds me of like all the hard work that I do, and not saying I don't get that in my regular daily life. It's actually the opposite as of recently, more often, which is something we'll get into later. But working with my therapist has been like a huge help throughout this entire year. I want to say we started working together in February, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even March. And I love her. Like anytime we're not talking, like we've moved to now once every like 2, maybe 3 weeks, and I just have like so much to tell her every time we talk, and I do a lot of reflecting. It's heavy, you know, sometimes you're like reliving things that you don't want to relive, and I don't know. That's my quick soapbox spiel about working with a dietitian and working with a therapist. I think everybody could benefit from that in some way. And then another quick little moment is I did run another race in April. I ran another 5K, which is super exciting for me. I do all of these things like kind of in quiet and silent, and then just like work really hard and then feel good about it on my own afterwards. So that was one thing that I did. I wanted to run another race in 2026, and I'm actually signed up for a 10K at the end of this month, August 30th. that was like my big goal for that. So that for this year, running another race like that. So we're slowly working. Like I said, I kind of train in quiet, but we're slowly working to make our way to make that 10K possible, which is really exciting. If you're watching on video, quick side note, I am dog/cat sitting, so there's a lot of animals roaming around here. So if you hear anything in the background or you see them on camera, I am aware that they are there. Some big moments that happened in April was I finished my 4th season with the St. Louis Blues, the 1st season as a full-time radio producer. It was a lot. There was 82 games plus preseason, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. So I was really, like, it was a bittersweet moment to like have that season be closed. Didn't make the playoffs, which obviously sucks, but got to extend my summer a little bit, and I've been making the most of it. So that was a really big moment. And then I went to 3 more Lainey concerts in April, and these are labeled as big moments because it kind of changed everything. I am gonna fangirl for a little bit, so buckle in, grab a snack if you need one. I went to Chicago the day after actually the Blues season ended. So I think we ended on a Thursday, and then I got to go to the Chicago show on Friday. Great show. I got to be on Barricade. Oh goodness, Rachel. I got to be on Barricade. I never buy VIP. I'm always a general admission person, and then I'll just get there early in the day and wait outside while like waiting in line, or, you know, make friends, and hopefully they want to bring you up to the front with you. So I did end up getting on Barricade for the Chicago show, and I was kind of a little taken aback because it felt like I was like recognized, you know, and sometimes you just like think those, you know, you're like, oh my God, he saw me, whatever. After the show, this is something new this tour, the guys are, Paul is the lead singer and Jake is the drummer of Lainey. They have been coming out after the shows to like say hi, take pictures when they can, obviously, like, it's tiring. There's a lot of shows, you got to travel, all that stuff. So when they can come out, they have been coming out, and they did come out after the Chicago show, which was really nice. I knew that I was going to be in the Nashville show, at the Nashville show the next night. And I had a t-shirt that my mom had made and got me for Christmas. It had a picture of Paul and I on stage in Toronto in 2024, doing our little hip bump. And so I was going to wear that at the Nashville show, but like I said, because I don't do VIP and only do general admission, you never know if you're going to be in the front. So I wanted to show Paul that shirt and be like, haha, in case you don't see this in Nashville tomorrow, whatever. That was literally all I had planned to say. Like, my friends that I made that night took a video of me being like, hi Paul, this is a shirt. Have a great night. Like, I literally didn't, you know, people like go up to him and be like, I want to say this and this and this, and I want to tell him all these things. Like, I just really just wanted that man to see my shirt, whatever. But he took that conversation in a completely different direction when he said, my manager sent me your TikTok today. I said, excuse me, what? Shut up. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have TikTok notifications on. So he had liked and commented on a video of me doing like a little dance in my car that we do at the shows to one of their new songs. And that's crazy, first of all, that like that even social attention happened. First time like ever. That was crazy, and especially on TikTok, that's weird. And so we talked about that for a little bit. I got to show him the shirt, and I was like, I wanted you to, like, I'm going to be at Nashville tomorrow, but I wanted you to see the shirt. He's like, you should come up on stage in Nashville and we'll run back the hip bump. Okay. So we shall do that. I drove overnight from Chicago to Nashville and then got in line for Nashville. I think it was like 4th in line for general admission or something, because I did the overnight drive and didn't get there until like 8 a.m. I do stop and sleep on the side of the road a little bit. I'm not like a get a hotel room type of girl. I wouldn't say it's the safest option, but look at me, I'm still here. Everything's fine. I live to tell the tale. So yeah, sleeping on entrance ramps onto the highway and waking up with all these semis surrounded by around you is a little scary sometimes, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Am I right? So, sometimes saying it out loud just whatever, I know I'm crazy. So we did the overnight drive from Chicago to Nashville. I was like second, maybe third row of like right in the center of the pit for Nashville show. Got to go on stage for that. That was great. It was definitely a different song. In 2024 in Toronto, I danced on stage to Dancing in the Kitchen, which is like an upbeat dancing in the kitchen. In 2026 of April, when I went on stage with Paul Klein from Lainey, I danced on stage to a song called 13, and it's kind of like a breakup song, but it's got like a kind of beat, so it's much more chill vibe. And when you're on stage, you know, you got all this adrenaline going on, you just want to like dance. So that was a little bit hard for me to vibe with, and I tried to like have like funny, I don't know, like I was just uncomfortable, so I had funny moments in some moments, and so that was another top tier Lainey moment. Paul got to come out after the show in Nashville for like a quick group photo, and then he talked with like some people, got like a cute little high five and a hug and a little selfie, and that was cute. And then I was convinced by my new friends that I made in Nashville and Chicago that I should go to one more show in Atlanta. So I did. I went back to work, and then I went to the show, the Atlanta show, drove, you know, well over 8 hours. That drive was really, really hard. Really, really hard. But we made it, and we lived to tell the tale. Atlanta show, there was nothing like super special, like interaction wise, and they never came out afterwards, after the show. They had like a lot of family there and everything like that, but it was, you know, like there's no bad Lainey shows. Like I crave it. I miss it. It's so much fun. If you ever want to go to a Lainey show, hit a girl up, because we'll travel. So I'd say those are like my two biggest moments from April, was finishing out my 4th season with the St. Louis Blues, and then highlight big time was Lainey concerts. And honestly, kind of how I took a step back and realized like my content is getting seen, you know. So that was April was kind of the foundation for me to be like, okay, let's start posting more. Let's find my niche, which is like concerts and giving the fan perspective and just having fun with all of the content. It was kind of like the base. It was kind of like the intro to where we are now, which we'll get there. In May, quick moments to mention, I have been volunteering, and I won't say like what organization I'm volunteering for because of the privacy for them, but it's been really nice to kind of put my money where my mouth is and have boots on the ground and make a difference and help patients and people feel comfortable and safe for their human rights. And it's been really fun to, like I said, boots on the ground, put my money where my mouth is. So if you've thought about volunteering anywhere and trying to make a difference, you should definitely do that. It feels good to surround yourself with people that feel the same way as you and support the same things that you do and are, again, putting themselves out there and helping others. So that's been a cool thing. I volunteer at least once a month, sometimes do like community events as well. So that's been a really fun thing that I've just been doing for myself and for others, obviously. Like, it feels good for me, but you know, the point of it is to help others. Another quick moment to mention, I've been dog sitting. Clearly, I think I've dog sat at least one place every month since the last time we talked, April/May, and I've been going to Cardinals games too, which is really, really fun. So really fun summer moments. Big time moments in May was my birthday weekend. My girls made it so much fun by like celebrating all weekend. I got to go to, where did we go Friday night? Oh, Friday night was, we went to like this Hannah Montana rave downtown, and it turned out to be pretty rough. I'm gonna have to get this dog down, hold on. The dog that I'm watching is very old and he cannot get down from the furniture by himself. So just had to bring Toby down for a second. Friday night of my birthday, we went to a Hannah Montana rave that, like I said, turned out to be a little bit rough. It was just a couple girls like DJing, and like the playlist had a lot more potential than it could have. We went to Ballpark and we went to Rooftop 360, and like everything was like super fun that way. It was just like Hannah Montana, like there was so much potential there, you know? Saturday, I think if I remember correctly, kind of spent the day to myself, and then ended up at a speakeasy with my friends at that night. That's also the first night actually my now boyfriend met some of my friends, which was really fun. And then Sunday, we'll get into that, don't worry, I'm not glossing over it. And then Sunday, Sunday was my actual birthday, so we started at Bar Louie for mimosas, and then we went to Main Street, and we were kind of just like hopping around, having a good time. It was a great Sunday, and my people made me feel super loved all weekend, so that was a really, really big highlight in May. Another big highlight event-wise was my brother's graduation. He graduated from college, which was super exciting to see and very cool for, you know, watch a little brother grow up moment. And then last big moment in May was becoming a girlfriend. That sounds so weird to say, but I have gotten permission from said boyfriend to talk about these things. So my boyfriend's name is Chase. We actually have some history by going way back. We dated in middle school. We were each other's like first date, first kiss, you know, all of that stuff. So it's been really fun to reconnect. How we reconnected, God, I was feeling pretty good on a trip to Mexico. If you remember me talking about how I went to Mexico with my mom on an all-inclusive trip. I think it was during, Olympic time. So, because the Blues were off. I was, you know, feeling pretty good one of those days, and commented on one of his posts that had like a hockey reference to the movie Miracle, which is my favorite movie, and he DM'd me and asked if he could listen to some radio stuff that I do, because he has followed along with all of the things that I've done, even when he like went and lived in Florida and stuff and came back. And so we got together at the end of February and haven't left each other's sides since. It's been honestly the biggest shocker of my life. It was not on my 2026 bingo card to fall in love like this, but it's been a really, really fun experience to not only like have a summer, but like have that summer love. He treats me better than I could have ever even imagined. I used to call myself a hopeless romantic. I have been taught to change that language to a hopeful romantic, and I could never have imagined my life turning out like this. It's so much better, and he makes me feel so secure and so reassured, and is just like the most supportive, best partner I could literally ever, I think ever, like literally ever. I know I'm biased, whatever, but I am the big independent, I can do everything myself girly, because that's been my entire life. And it's also nice to have that support while knowing I can be that person. And becoming a girlfriend in May was definitely a big turning point for me, a big moment in May. So we kind of waited, you know, a little bit, got reconnected at the end of February, and I'd say towards like end of May, officially made it official. So waited a little bit, but I think everything has happened the way it's supposed to for us, and I'm really excited to see where everything continues to go. Okay, let's move on to June. Some quick moments to mention, I have become a golfer because of said boyfriend Chase. Big golf family, big baseball family, big sports family, and I'm a putter. What can I say? I'm a putter. I can't do anything else. Don't be confused. But the first time we went, I made a putt on hole 18. Woo! And then the second time we went, I made 3 putts. I don't remember what holes they were on, but like, if I remember correctly, the guys were like, those were important. Like, those made a difference in the overall score or whatever. Anytime I'm not putting, I'm a nice cheerleader with a drink in my hand. You know, that's where I live, and I love it. I get to be outside, I get to have a drink in my hand, and I get to be around people and enjoying summer. I'm in. Count me there. I used to think golf was so slow, so boring, and I'm sure if I watching it's a little different. Sorry, Chase, and others that enjoy golf. Watching it's very different for me than being in the atmosphere with a drink in the hand. The drink in the hand is a necessary moment. But yeah, I've evidently become a golfer. I'm a putter now, so cool, go me. That actually helped a little bit of conversation that I had at a women in sports happy hour that I went to. This is another like little quick mention because I was only there for like an hour and a half. It was very like come and go type, and like I said, it was a happy hour, so it was everybody just like trying to network and connect, and I made some cute little friends that really loved hockey, and we talked a lot about the Blues, so that was fun. And last thing, I mentioned like golfing, I've mentioned Cardinals games, like going to baseball games as well, supporting Chase's little brother that plays baseball. It's just been so nice to be outside. I love summertime and I love being outside, and like the sweat is a free workout. Are you kidding me? Like, put me in the sun, I'm there. So this is actually probably the tannest I've been in my entire life, because when you really reflect on it, this is the first summer I've had since high school, maybe before then. When I was coaching dance, you practice all summer. And then I also work other jobs, you know, so I haven't had a summer to live in what feels like forever. And I'm just living my absolute best life. I don't want it to end. Some big moments that happened in June, I choreographed a pom home routine for my old high school, Holt. It was really, really cool to go back. Well, one, we like practiced at the middle school, so I went back to the place like where Chase and I met, and that was a kind of culture shock a little bit. I FaceTimed him and like walked around and took some videos for him, and there was so many memories that just like flood back just because you're in the same space, even though some things look so different. So one, being in that space, teaching that team was very, very full circle moment. And then I went to their camp send off before they went to camp. So home routine is a routine you bring from home and bring to your dance team camp and perform it on the first night and just like get it out of the way, show everybody what you've been working on all summer. And I got to go to Holt's showcase before like their send off to camp, and they did so good. Like it was so great to like see my choreography out there, those girls having fun doing it. It looks like strong, you know. So I also choreographed a competition hip hop routine for them this year. So like that was a good like little preview, got me excited to like work with the team again. So that was a big highlight in June. And then also, this is dance related as well, Fusion Dance Center, the studio that I danced at and taught at after I graduated, was celebrating 15 years of being Fusion. And put together an alumni dance. So I got to go back and dance on stage at recital. We did like a compilation of all of the productions throughout the years, and it was so cool. Like I had so much fun. I had so much fun being back on that stage. Like I laughed a good amount of the time because I just had the biggest smile on my face. My mom and Chase got to come to that, and it was really cool for, you know, Chase to see like that side of where my life was and kind of still is, you know, like I still choreograph, but I'm not necessarily in like the coaching or the teaching or the dancing space. So it was cool for him to see me on stage, and then obviously, you know, your mom, the one that had been there through it all, to see you back on stage after so many years and celebrating a studio that was there for you your entire, you know, I think I started dancing at Center Stage when I was like 8, and then Center Stage and Synergy merged together obviously 15 years ago. So I had been at that studio 10 plus years, you know, and so it was cool to go back and see all these youngins that I used to teach grow up, but also be back with all of the same, like all the alumni, like being in the same room. It was really, really special. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because like social anxiety, and didn't know like how it was all gonna go, but it was so cool to be back on that stage and so cool to be with all of those people and just remember what those feelings felt like, just like how it was at the middle school, being back on that stage and being at the studio, even though it's a new space, really like had all of those memories flood back. So that was June, really big month. July felt like the longest month ever. I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but I was in the last week of July, and I was like, the 4th happened, and I know the 4th of July, like duh, it's the holiday is in the name, but the 4th happened this month. That feels like it was 4 years ago. And maybe because like I had a 4th of July celebration that like I haven't had in a really long time. Like I don't usually celebrate the 4th. So I was like around fireworks and everything like that. And I just like haven't really remembered the last time I had been around any of that. So maybe it was such like a big prominent event in the month of July that I was like, we're still in that month? Crazy. So let's talk about July. Some quick mentions. My cousin, who plays in the Cardinals organization, he got drafted last year. He was on All-Star break and got to come home for his birthday, so that was really fun. We got to celebrate his 23rd birthday with all of the family, and that was also where I got to have my boyfriend Chase come over and not necessarily meet all of those people because Chase coaches my cousin at their high school baseball team. So like the families already kind of know each other, but it was the first time like being in a family party atmosphere like that. So it was a really big highlight for me to have Chase like meet some of the family. Another highlight, pool days. Pool days are prime. Let me tell you, I mentioned that this is probably the tannest I've ever been in my life, but it's also probably the happiest because being outside and being by a pool, I don't have a pool. Chase has a pool. It's really nice. Went and took a jazzercise class yesterday morning, went and jumped in his pool right afterwards. It was like, cool, I feel better. You know, like can't be washing the hair every day. Got to put some chlorine in there. So I don't know. Pool days have been, I look forward to pool days very, very much so. And then, I mean, let's be honest for a second. Don't feel the most confident in a swimsuit / bikini all the time. So exposure therapy, doing it more, that helps a lot. I recognize that. Is the confidence all the way there? Absolutely not. Do we fake it till we make it? Absolutely. Let's move on. Some other fun things that I've been doing is like I mentioned jazzercise yesterday. I've also done Pilates at the park. Woo! Couldn't walk for a couple days, but it was fun. Going to a farmer's market. I've been doing like cute food meetups with like old friends or like making them like business meetings if I'm working on like getting ready to work on some choreography for a team. So there's just been a lot of like good little moments throughout July that really filled my cup. I was really happy, even though it was the longest month of my life. Some big moments, I mentioned that choreography. I did choreography for 3 teams in the month of July. I did a pom routine for the Junior North Point Grizzlies, the middle school team. They were so cute. That was so fun to work with them. I did Holt's Hip Hop, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, and then I also worked with a new team this year, and that is St. Dominic. Choreographed a pom routine for them. They have, like, it's the biggest team that I've worked with, and doing all the different visuals and doing all the different groups. It took a while, don't get me wrong. One person trying to teach 4 groups in 10 seconds, like, it's hard. So it took my brain a while, and it also took, like, teaching a while, but it was so fun to work with so many different groups and have so many different visuals happening. And then if you're the type of, like, if you're like me, I listen to the music and I'm like, okay, that can happen. And then I listen to it again, I'm like, okay, that could also happen. I listen to it one more time, I'm like, I could see that too. When you have that many people, it's so easy to make all 3 of those things happen and make all of those visuals hopefully come true and, like, work together in that moment. So it was a lot of trial and error working with the girls and working with visuals. I will say, if you're a choreographer out there, I highly recommend splitting up your choreography teaching days. It's very common to do a weekend where it's a 9 to 5, or honestly an 8 to 8, or, like, depending on, like, how long you want your lunch breaks, how many meals you're taking, like, meal breaks you're taking, how long the choreographers need to workshop things. And I'm not a person that can workshop on the spot super well. I've gotten a lot better about it because pom with so many groups is like, okay, let me see it again. Okay, let me see it again. Okay, change this one thing, let me see it again. But my brain, if I know something's not working, I need to walk away. I need to come back to it later, and then let's try again. When you just have a Saturday, Sunday, that's really hard. When you just have a Saturday, Sunday, 9 to 5 both days, and you crank out that routine and you learn it all, it's hard. It's hard for the dancers' brains. It's hard for the dancers' bodies. Ouch. And then it's also hard on a choreographer like me that likes to sleep on it, likes to see what different pathways can come about, different visuals and everything like that. I've been working on a Monday through Friday 9 to 12 type schedule. Haven't needed that Friday once, actually. We finished on Thursday both times, and not only have we finished early and, like, the girls know the dance, it's clean, you know, so, like, it's the team's already a step ahead of where they usually are, so they feel more confident and they want to work harder. And then if they like the routine, I like it, I'm biased, but if they like the routine, then they want to work harder as well. You know, another team that I worked with in August, Fort Zumwalt East, this is my 2nd year working with them, they got a little taste of what they could do last year, you know, and I think that's going to help them work harder this year. And so it's really cool, not only to like especially with East, like working with a team multiple years and seeing the growth, working with Holt from camp to comp and seeing the growth from summer, that's really cool. But it's fun to work with new teams too, you know, working with that middle school and working with St. Dom and working with my best friend. Also, I get to choreograph with my friend Kirsten. We're choreographing a jazz and a hip hop. We're doing both routines for North Point, the high school, and I got to work with their middle school too. So, like, it's all connected and it's all really fun. But my biggest takeaway from this choreo season is that everybody's brains function so much better on the Monday through Thursday, Monday through Wednesday, Monday through Friday, whatever you want to schedule, 9 to 12. Like, we still ended up doing 12 hours of choreography. We did Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12, 10, 11, 12, 3 hours a day times 4, 12 hours if my quick math is correct. I know I'm not good at quick math, but I think that's it. So you're still getting 12 hours of choreography, and honestly, I cleaned for an hour, maybe more of that on our last day, or reviewed things, or, you know, like, was drilling endurance because get it done now so you feel better about it later on in the season, you know. So it's been very, very eye-opening to see how much better everyone's brains operate when you do get to sleep on it multiple times, when you do get to walk away from it, come back and be like, oh, I get it better now, or that I hate that part, let's completely revamp it, stuff like that. So quick soapbox speech for my choreographers out there. If your brain operates like that, or that's something you can do in your schedule, I highly recommend. So choreography was a really big highlight in July. It took up a lot of my time, not gonna lie, and it took up a lot of my brain power, but I make good money from it and I love it. And the key, like the big key from it, is I love it. I love staying connected. I love pushing people. I love giving the team their an opportunity to reach their fullest potential, and I just love it. I'm so grateful that I'm still in the game like that, and even though I'm not coaching or teaching like specifically or hounding in on all of that stuff, you know, choreography, I come in for a week, crank it out for that team, go back if I'm welcome back in those practices 2-3 times before the end of the season, and help virtually, obviously, for any changes, corrections that need to be made if judges don't like something, and then I'm out. You know, it's not the full commitment of coaching or teaching. So I love choreographing, and I'm super grateful that I still get to continue it. The other big highlight from July is concert season. I know we talked about Lainey early on, but you know, the amphitheater, the outdoor concerts, they've all started. I went and saw The Fray, which was kind of like a bucket list concert moment. I didn't know obviously every song on the set list. I got the tickets through the radio station, so that was really nice. And it was at St. Louis Music Park, so it was a little bit of a smaller venue, and they were great. I ain't got no complaints. I heard the oldies that I wanted to hear. The new stuff was great. The lead singer came out into the crowd and all the way up to the top row of the bleachers. Like, it was just like, it was great. I loved it. Great bucket list item. If you ever want to see The Fray, you definitely should. Hilary Duff. Woo! My childhood is complete. That was so fun, going with my girlfriends and having like just, I think it was a Tuesday night. Like, it just felt like the most random summer activity, and my childhood felt like I could put a stamp on approval in that moment, because all the nostalgia, seeing everybody so dressed up and so confident and having such a great time and living their best lives, and just knowing that they were doing everything for their inner child. And I miss that atmosphere. The lines were long, the place was busy, the parking lot was packed, but I do miss that atmosphere of like girlhood. That was a really good concert, and obviously Hilary Duff is amazing. She was so good. Another person this was in August, but I did get to see Noah Kahan when he came through St. Louis. Got tickets through the radio station, and that was life-changing. I got to bring Chase. That was our first concert together, and we had so much fun, singing and dancing and watching Noah just be a goofball. Like, he is such a fool. I love it so much. And it was probably the biggest concert I've ever been to, is at Busch. And we all had like the light up bracelets. I got pretty emotional at the beginning, just feel like I love my life. I've never, I love my life. This is so cool. I've got the greatest partner standing next to me, experiencing this with me in this moment. And I love my life. I love this life. It's just really cool to think back on, so it's cool that concerts, events like that can give you that feeling that you can literally, I could hear American Cars, which was the opener. I could hear that song again and be put right back in that moment, and have the full body chills that I felt in that moment. See all of the lights light up around me, hear the intro of the song, look over at Chase and just feel like, I love this life. I can put myself back in that moment. And I think that's what concerts and live music and all of that stuff is really all about. So my next concert is 2 days from now. I'm gonna go see Train. Woo! At the amphitheater. Super excited. This is also like another bucket list concert. It's like one of those you don't feel like you will ever hear some of these songs live or see this person live, then you're like, wow, pretty cool life, you know? I will say, I skipped over one, sorry. After Noah Khan was Neo and Akon. Completely different concert. Like, it's going to Noah Khan on Sunday and Neo and Akon on Tuesday. I was like, the music variety is crazy. If you've seen the videos of what goes on at that concert on that stage, it's outrageous. It was a lot to look at, and it was a lot to comprehend that was happening. But again, I never would have expected to hear some of those songs live. They did a little part in their set where they would play songs that they wrote or produced, because they're not just singers. Neo and Akon produced songs as well. They played Just Dance by Lady Gaga. They played Take a Bow by Rihanna. They played a couple, or is that Beyonce? I don't remember, don't kill me. But like they played, like there was just so many songs. Bulletproof, oh my gosh, there was so many songs that I was like, I never would have expected to hear this live. And I'm with my friends like in the lawn. There was so much space to just dance around and act a fool, and complete opposite of Hillary Duff. Like there was no space in the lawn, even though we were in seats at Hillary Duff because we weren't taking a chance on that. But like we looked up at the lawn and there was no space. And then we walked out onto the lawn and Neo and Akon were like, hey, look at all this space, you know, to all this room to dance. So it was obviously, like I said, two very different vibes. But again, I love my life. Like, I love that that's the variety that I have, and that is something that I get to experience with my friends. And even though, yeah, I'll probably never see most of these people live ever again, check it off the bucket list. You know how it feels so good to be like, I've heard this song live. I heard this song live. Unwritten, Natasha Bedingfield, when she came out with the Jonas Brothers, I've heard that song live. Come on, like, that's so cool. So obviously, summer highlights have been concerts, my boyfriend, outside time, and then the very last one that I kind of want to talk about is my content kind of taking off. I have been steadily getting thousands of likes daily on TikTok, getting pretty good with the followers. I'm still not at the marker I need to like make money on TikTok. And obviously, you know, that is a goal. That would be really nice to have some passive beneficial income from that. And then it also makes me excited because if you're not following me, you definitely should, because I get to go meet Thomas Rhett in like 2 weeks and make all of this content for like their home team headquarters account. And I get to have collaborations and all of these posts. We're gonna meet and greet, we're gonna VIP, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So it makes me, like, obviously I'm super thankful. I'm super grateful that like, I'm confused, I'm not gonna lie. I'm confused on why people enjoy watching me sing in my car. And I know it's because of the music that I'm listening to and singing along to, but like hundreds of thousands of people watching me and then like thousands of people liking that video, like it doesn't, I can't comprehend it up here. I can't quite understand it. But it makes me excited to know that if that kind of content can get that kind of attention, my super cool content that's about to come with Thomas Rhett could really, really take off. So if you want to see what's going to happen in 2 weeks, because I will definitely be keeping you guys updated on that TikTok and on Instagram. I have like stuff that are required to post, but I plan on having a little podcast recap about it as well. You should follow along because it's gonna be good stuff. That leads me to the look ahead. I'm looking to make a weekly episode. We're back, chat. I'm putting it in the universe. we are back with a weekly episode. Next week, we'll find something else to talk about. The week after that, we'll talk about some Thomas Rhett prep. Week after that, a Thomas Rhett recap. We're just gonna make it happen because I like doing this. It makes me feel good, makes me feel productive. I feel like we got good connection going on, and obviously it helps with confidence and just putting myself out there. So if you like this podcast, make sure you do all of the things and interact with it on whatever platform you're on. I really, really appreciate it. Give a girl a follow if you haven't already, because like I said, the content is contenting. We are summer maxing, friends, I promise. Follow along, it's a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Deeks Peek into everything, specifically into my fun summer, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.